Is in planning an organization, how to organize before going to do the experiments or demonstrations. The mathematics teacher has to check the following in organizing the mathematics laboratory. For that, we can prepare a checklist. The checklist should have contain the following. Then the organization of the practical or the organization of mathematics laboratory will be fruitful. The first one in the checklist, we should check whether the objective is achievable by the students or not, and is it clear to the students or not to achieve. The second one is whatever materials are required to do the lab work, are they available or not. The second one, the teacher has to question himself whether can he facilitate to the students to do the experiment. Next one, he has to reflect himself that how can he involve the learners or make the students to participate in the activity. Next, first he has to check before demonstration whether all the operators which are required to do the demonstration are working or not properly. Then after, whatever procedure he is guiding or whatever procedure he want to follow, whether it is simple or not. And next, he has to reflect himself that whether the findings can be applied to theoretical knowledge which was taught by him in the regular classroom teaching learning. And at last, he has to question himself that will he integrate the result of the practical work with the classroom teaching and learning. And before going to the entering to the laboratory, he has to follow some guidelines, and he has to give some guidelines to the students. All the students should have the good theoretical knowledge, that means sound theoretical knowledge, otherwise they cannot perform the practicals in the laboratory. So the teacher and his students should have the sound theoretical knowledge before entering into the mathematics laboratory to perform the activities, and they should be ready with use all the operators which are required to do the activity. So they should have they should come with the full preparedness to the laboratory. That means they should ready to do the practical without any doubts. And according to the strength, the teacher has to provide the enough operators to the students, whether they are working in groups or individuals. So if there are more strength, he has to arrange the students in the groups, otherwise he can not to arrange in groups, they can do the activity individually. Next, there should be a notice board to display the guidelines or safety measures to the students. So there should be a notice board with safety measures to be taken in the classroom. The next one is the good discipline must be maintained, otherwise the activity will be disturbed and the laboratory will not function properly. So the good discipline enhances the good productivity. The good discipline leads to good results. So the good discipline must be maintained in the mathematics lab by the students, and that should be followed by every student. And safety kits should be get ready, means that safety kit means fire extinguishers and all other things should be kept ready for the safety. And there should be a first aid box immediately to utilize when any problem occurs, when fire accidents or something happens to the students. So these are some guidelines to be followed when they are entering to the mathematics lab. So next we are going to discuss about how to work in a group. If the strength is less, or if the classroom is having small strength, that means if there are sufficient students to work with the individual equipments, they can go individually and they can work on the same activity by all the students. If there are so much students in the classroom, if it is a large classroom, then the teacher has to divide them into the groups with a maximum strength of 5 to each group, and there should be not more than 4 to 5 groups, maximum 6 groups, and each group should not consist more than 5 members. So if the strength is more, then we have to follow the cyclic manner to do the experiments in the mathematics lab, and the following tables can be used to record the details of the groups or details of the students, those who are doing the practicals. So if it is individual, we have to follow this one. If it is in a group, we have to follow this one. So this is about the working in a group, how to working in a group. So then how to motivate the students in the mathematics lab by how the teacher can motivate the students, then what way the teacher motivates the students to do the practicals effectively. So all the students should be instructed by the teachers that they should come with some following items, especially the following items are required to enter into the mathematics lab. The first one is auxiliary record book. That means the should come with the auxiliary record book, which is useful to record all the observations or whatever it may be, the preliminaries of the objective and materials required, all these things which can help the students to do the experimental work. The second one is laboratory notebook. That means what is the way they have doing the work, all these things they should be noted. Then that record of observation, what the record is, what observation is getting, that observation should be recorded in some other book, that is called record of observation. So then after the student has to distinguish the inferences from the observation, and he has to write the findings of the experiment, then submit to the mathematics teachers or mathematics supervisor or mathematics instructor in the lab instructor in the laboratory in time. So that should be submitted in time. This is in this way the teacher has to motivate the students to do the experiment actively and make the students involved in the mathematics lab actively.